What's up everyone? For today I'm going to be showing you all how I achieve my messy puff. So this is different than my original puff video. I will have that up in the cards as well as down below, but this one is more messy, no gel or anything, and it has some bangs and little curly pieces falling. So I do have short to medium length hair, and I have like a 4B-ish type of hair type, and so with that I have to kind of create my messiness, you know. I have to create the little curly pieces falling. My hair just doesn't look like this on its own. So I'm going to be starting off with really dry hair. This is old hair. If you watch my original puff video, you know I like to do this on old hair just so that I have a little bit more volume. So I'm going to start off by just creating those messy pieces. So I'm going to use the LCO method, so using water, a cream, and then an oil to lock everything in. I'll have these products down below, and I'm just going to put those on the LCO method, and I am going to just do a 3-strand twist on pretty much my entire for all my little messy pieces. I'm going to do a 3-strand. So right here I am doing a 3-strand. I have a couple videos showing you all how to do it, so I'll try to find those and link them below, but I'm just doing a 3-strand twist. You can do a regular 2-strand. I just do 3 because it's a little bit more definition, especially since this is such a tiny piece of hair. So I'm going to do it on one side and just twirl the ends, and it's just going to look just like that, and it's going to be perfect for the next day, so I can have a little sideburn, little action going on. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then once I have done the 2 sides, I'm going to do a flat twist in the back using the same LCO method. I just didn't show any other products, but I added that to my hair, and I'm just doing a flat twist so that I can also add little curly pieces at the bottom of my head, like near the bottom of my puff. Whatever hair I don't use, I just pin it up to the puff. So after I've done those little messy pieces, I'm going to section off where I'm going to have my bangs. So I kind of do it from like the arch of my eyebrow to the other arch, and I just section it off. You won't see me using a comb at all in this video except for to part one part of my hair, but that's literally it. So I'm just going to section off where my bangs will be, and I'll come back to that. And I'm just going to again do the LCO method and put in some really chunky twists all over my hair. This really is to give some moisture to my hair and give it a little bit of definition as well. So I'm adding that water, cream, and then oil, and then just doing a chunky twist. So right here I'm doing a 2-strand and then I'm going to do another 2-strand on the other side, and then I'm going to do 2 other 2-strands, and then I will have some 3-strand twists in the sections that are kind of chunky, so I wanted to make sure I have a good amount of definition. So I'm just going to go ahead and twist my hair up, and then I'll get to the bangs. Okay, so now I am doing the bang area, and I part my hair in the middle just because sometimes when I wear this style I like to kind of wear my bangs in a part so it's not just on my forehead. But for today, just how they fell, I ended up kind of wearing them all down. But I do like to have that part just in case, because I don't like parting my hair like once all the definition is there and they're perfectly curled, because parting it can always like mess that up. So I go ahead and part it beforehand. So on each side of that part, I'm going to create 2 flat twists, and I'm putting those same products in my hair, and then I'm going to do a flat twist going towards my face, so starting in the back and working my way up to the front. And if you've watched my hair videos before, you know that the front of my hair grows in a completely different texture than the rest of it, so I have to use some type of a roller. So I'm using a flexi rod and just twirling them around in the same direction that I twisted them. And then I'm just going to roll them around and do the same thing on the other side. Twist them going down and then put on flexi rod, so then that way my twists won't be hanging and looking kind of dull. It'll give them some bounce. And I'm just going to leave these in overnight, and the next day, this is like the morning, so the video is super bright compared to the night before, but I'm just checking to make sure that all of my hair is dry, because I hate when like my hair is still wet. It just messes up the whole vibe. But I'm just going to take down all of the chunky twists. I'm leaving the little tiny 3 strands and my flat twist in the back, as well as my bang area. I'm leaving that alone until after I've created my puff, so then that way they don't get in the way. And as I'm taking down each twist, I'm also separating each of the 2 or 3 sections of the twist into multiple parts without creating a ton of frizz. But a little bit of frizz is okay. I love volume, so this type of style, again, it's messy, so I don't mind the frizz, but I do want to see that definition as well. And then I'm going to get my little pick and fluff my hair out at the roots, really lift it so that I can create the best voluminous puff that I can. The difference between this puff and my messy puff is that the hair is usually not as full just because there's not as much hair in the puff. But I'm going to create my puff the same way using my little, shoestring, because it works. It doesn't give me a headache, and I can create my puff as big or as little as I want to, whereas other methods that I used to use, they either like give me a headache or they slip out very easily, or they're always like the same size. But if you use a shoestring, I don't know, it just creates whatever you really want. It can be huge or it can be really tiny, like a ponytail. So I had it here and I checked it, and then I decided to make it a little bit smaller, so I just tugged at the shoestring a little bit more. I do have more details on how I use the shoestring in my original puff video, so you can check that out if you haven't seen it. So I'm just going to tie my shoestring off and keep on fluffing. I am very, very picky and a perfectionist when it comes to my puff. Like, I like them to look messy, but I still want them to look like nice and perfectly rounded, and I never can get it there, but it looks good enough. So I'm just playing with a little bit, and then I'm going to start working on my messy pieces. So I'm going to take those 3 strand twists, and they got pulled up into the puff, so I'm literally just pulling them out, no problem. And I'm going to take down my 3 strand twists, and somehow how I slept, look at how they came out. It's not right, but that's okay, because we're going to use some bobby pins, and I'm going to take down my flat twist in the back as well. So in the back, I don't want like an entire line of hair just falling in the back, so I just took out a little bit and I pinned the rest of that up. And then for my little side piece, I pick out one of the strands from the 3 strand twist and I leave that down, and then I put the other 2 twists, or other 2 sections of the twist, up into my puff. So I'm using a lot of bobby pins in this video, so I'm pinning up the extra pieces that I don't want, and then I'm going to try to finesse my piece that I kept down to kind of have it a little bit closer to my head so I don't look crazy. So I just literally just use a bobby pin and kind of flattened it against my head so that it would be down. And then I did the same thing on the other side, except this one had a curve like in the middle of the twist tube, but just gotta work with it. It is a messy style, so just go with the flow. So now I am taking down my flat twists, and I'm just taking them down. Every time I do this style, like, everything comes out differently each time. I never know what I'm gonna get, but each time it gets me a pretty good style. They just kind of look different every time. So I'm taking these down, and then I'm going to use a pick to just like fluff everything out. And then once I've used the pick, I'm just kind of looking at it and seeing how I want my bangs to fall. Like I said, usually I do wear it kind of like with the middle part, but it looked better to me to just have them all kind of flowing on my head and everything. So I kind of kept them just all going down, and I just used bobby pins to form them to look how I want them to look. I don't want them to be too long, and I don't want it to look like too messy that looks like I don't care. So I just kept playing with it and putting in a lot of bobby pins, and this was basically the final look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I do have an original puff video that is very sleek, where I do my baby hairs and all that. So if you haven't seen that video, please do check it out. And if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye guys.